Welcome to Midday. My name is George Bassey. I'm director of the Lauren Rogers Museum of Art in Laurel. I'm really glad to have you with us today for the first of three segments of our gallery walk here at the museum. And I'm joined today by photographer Bruce West. And we're going to be looking at this exhibition entitled Take Time to Appreciate. And these are all photographs that Bruce has taken, and they feature two of Mississippi's premier folk artists. And so today's Midday, we're going to really look and talk to Bruce about him and his work and how he got into the subject matter of two folks from here in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And then the next couple of days, we'll really look at these two particular artists in a little more detail. So Bruce, glad to have you with us.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here and great to have the show.
Welcome back to Mississippi.
Hey, it's always a pleasure.
Right, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Let's see. I'm originally from the East Coast, but I've lived in Springfield, Missouri for the past 25 years. Okay. And I'm a professor at Missouri State University there, teach photography. And in 1994, I received my first sabbatical leave from the university, and I cooked up this kind of vague idea about photographing this American South. I had no idea what that meant. I had never traveled in the South before, and that's kind of the motivation for doing that. And the first state I came to, because it's the closest from Missouri, is Mississippi, and I've never left.
Well, we're glad you made us your first stop. And so, and this particular exhibit is pretty much documentary in terms of the lives of these two people?
Oh, absolutely. So that's really my orientation as an artist. And I met Reverend Dennis in 1994, my first trip down here. And then eventually met L.V. Hull in 1999. And then essentially since then, I've come back at least every summer to visit and to kind of come back to see them, visit with them, talk with them, and to continue photographing them.
Now, how long, over how many years have you been?
Well, let's see, since 1994, so okay. I guess this is 17 years. So, of course, LV passed away maybe 2 years ago. 2008. And Margaret Dennis passed away last year. The Reverend's now in a convalescent home. So, but I still come down and see him, and I've actually photographed him a couple times.
Yeah. Well, it's terrific that you've taken the time to document their lives, and really glad to be able to show this here at the museum. This exhibit is on view through February the 27th here at the museum, and glad you were with us today for this segment. I hope you'll join us again tomorrow, and we'll really look at the life of L.V. Hull and what Bruce has been able to do in documenting her surroundings in Kosciuszko. Thanks for being with us today for this segment of our gallery walk here at Midday. Welcome to Midday. I'm George Bassey here at the Lauren Rogers Museum of Art. And once again today we have Bruce West with us, and this is our second segment of our gallery walk here at WDAM. And Bruce is the photographer for this exhibition, Take Time to Appreciate. And there are photographs of Mrs. L.V. Hull and the Reverend H.D. Dennis. And Bruce, yesterday we talked about kind of you and really how you got into this project. And today let's spend a little time on these two folk artists, and in particular let's start with L.V. Hull.
Sure. As I mentioned last time, I met LV in 1999, my first visit. And actually the photograph over there shows, is from that time period. And I was just thoroughly amazed by her as a person, particularly her artwork. The yard is her yard is like a major art installation piece where she's included all sorts of discarded items, lots of shoes, and she's put together, repainted them, put them together in her own kind of sculptural manner. And then just also meeting her and being very impressed by her as this kind of self-taught artist and self-taught individual who's an incredibly wise individual. And I just became kind of so infatuated with her that, I've just every year since then till her passing, I'd come back every year and visit and kind of talk to her glean more words of wisdom and photograph her and her place.
Yeah, and she was in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, and what's great about it, I know the piece behind us is Take Time to Appreciate, which is the title of this exhibit, and you chose that because...
Well, because I think it really speaks about my motivation as an artist, the reason why I photograph. We talked about the fact that I'm a documentary photographer. I'm interested in using photography as a way of learning about the world and learning how to appreciate the world. Yeah. And it seemed that's what LV does with her artwork too.
Well, and what's great too about this exhibit is we were able to sprinkle in a few of her pieces of artwork, which, you know, folk art, I think a lot of times people don't know, maybe know a lot about, but they really can appreciate self-taught artists. And it's great to have some of these pieces, because that's really what was all around her house and yard.
Oh, absolutely. It kind of consumed both spaces. So.
Well, we're going to be back tomorrow with our final segment of our gallery walk, and we'll start talking about Reverend Dennis and his wife. I hope you'll be with us tomorrow for another segment of our gallery walk here at the Lorin Rogers Museum of Art. Welcome to Midday. Glad to have you back for our final segment of our gallery walk here at the Lorin Rogers Museum of Art. And for the past couple of days, we've been here with Bruce West, a photographer from Missouri, looking at this exhibition called Take Time to Appreciate. Now, Bruce, we've talked about kind of you and about LV Hull. Let's talk about Reverend Dennis for a little bit and the Margaret's Grocery.
Yes, I first met the Reverend in 1994. I was driving down Business Route 61, and I saw this really elaborate place with all these colorful painted facades, and was immediately, impressed and amazed. So I went back the next day and introduced myself and started photographing, and I met one of the most incredible people I think I've ever met my whole life. Because the Reverend Dennis is a self-taught man, he's a self-proclaimed preacher, he's an artist, he's an architect, and he's a total package. And he really used his artwork as a way of attracting people to his place in Vicksburg, as to kind of lure them in so he could start preaching the Word of God to them.
Yeah.
So.
Now, he kind of started this off as a tribute to his wife, right? He told her he wanted to build her a castle or a...
Yeah, I guess that was part of his marriage proposal to her, to kind of sweeten the deal. And it's a project that went on for years. I probably visited there for 16 years, and over that time it constantly grew and evolved. And it's a major piece of American folk art and architecture.
Yeah. Well, his place is, just as you mentioned, is on Business 61 in Vicksburg, and LV Hull's house is in Kosciuszko, and both these places still exist, but there are efforts underway to maybe try to preserve them, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think there are grassroots efforts in both towns, and people are really aware of how important these places are as cultural centers, and hopefully they'll be successful in trying to guarantee their preservation.
Well, thank you for documenting them, their lives, and their artwork. It's great to be able to have that exhibit here. It's on view, as I mentioned, here at the Lorin Rogers Museum of Art until February the 27th. Of course, the museum is located at the corner of 5th Avenue and 7th Street, beautiful, historic downtown Laurel. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 4:45 p.m. and on Sundays from 1 to 4. Of course, admission is free. If you'd like more information about this exhibit, school tours, anything we do here at the museum, please give us a call at 601-649-6374, or you can visit us on the web at lrma.org. I want to thank our exhibit sponsors for sponsoring this particular exhibition of Take Time to Appreciate, Vancore South, Laurel Ford, Lincoln Mercury and Kia, Mississippi Power, and Sanderson Farms. Glad you've been with us these last 3 days for our gallery walk here at the Lorin Rogers Museum of Art, and we'll see you next time for a midday program.